Hey everybody, this is Pat, and today we're going to see another high-powered prowler, this time from Tempe, Arizona. All right, so today here I've got Randy Hamilton. He's the owner of a 2000 yellow prowler, and he's had it for about 18 years. And he contacted me and wanted to show me all the things he's done to the car over the years and fixes and issues that he's had. So I guess first of all, Randy, go ahead and can you explain to us again, when you got it and why you decided to get a prowler?
Well, I've always loved the car the first time I saw it, but it had such a high demand, I didn't figure I could ever get in line and get a new one. So I was studying it for years, and finally an opportunity came up in Scottsdale, Arizona, where this fella had a yellow prowler, 2,000 miles on it, and he got caught drag racing while he was intoxicated. So his wife says, "You got to sell this car. Can't get insurance on it." So I happened to see it. And at that time, I mean, prowlers were so hot. If you ever saw one for sale, if you weren't there within hours, the car would be sold. In fact, I just missed buying an orange one by 15 minutes. I just walked up to the guy and says, "Well, that guy just bought it." So
Wow. Okay.
anyway, I just had a ball with it because it's kind of my Mona Lisa. You kind of start out plain and add
Yeah.
little bells and whistles. So you know what that's all
Yeah,
about.
I can tell. Well, you've had it for 18 years, so I can tell you've done a lot of work with it over the years. It's changed quite a bit since it was when it was original. So why don't we, if you want, can you go ahead and see if you can switch the camera over to see the car? So the one main thing you said you did, I think the biggest thing changes in the engine. There was some updates you did there to make it faster. Can you go over what you did there?
Oh yeah, that's when I first got the car, I thought, this needs a little more performance. I've always been kind of a performance nut and trying to improve stuff. And so I started out with the gears, and it helped performance a little bit, just on the low end. But and then I heard about this outfit in Wisconsin, Silver Lake, Wisconsin. Norm Brandeis is the owner, and Mike Crail, he and him have been working together on developing the 5.0. And so I contacted Norm, and Marty Usher also has had this kind of same upgrade, which is basically you take the 3.5 and make it a 4.3, or you can make it 5.0, but 5.0 is just too radical. So I said, let's this and more expensive. So he recommended the 4.3, which has a new crankshaft, new connecting rods, all forged, pistons. They regrind the cams.
So everything is still within the original aluminum block. It's still the main block of the engine is still the same though, right?
Yes, and that's the big difference in price, because if you go to 5.0, then you have to get sleeves because you can't bore it out that much, because this is bored and stroked.
Right. Okay.
And it gives the car a lot more low end to it. It really wakes the car up. And I don't know if you can see the chrome, or actually they're not chrome, but they're polished aluminum valve covers.
Okay.
You see it? That's Obi-Wan used to do that. Of course, he passed away, but he was really good. And when I had the lifter upgrade, it was a factory recall because it was clicking.
Okay.
I sent these off, and he polished them for me and sent them back.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can see the headers, but Prowler
that's
Pro.
Good. Yep. So yeah, it looks like so is that all stainless steel or aluminum that you've got covering there?
Well, this is aluminum. That is an original factory cover, and I found out that it's aluminum, and I was dealing with this kind of this machine shop, and he says I can polish that up. Now there's some people that have taken this and chromed it, but it's really difficult to chrome aluminum.
Yeah.
And the aluminum really polishes up pretty close. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's no,
it looks really nice. Okay, and you put a cover over the battery area too there, right? I assume that's removable.
Yeah, and it's funny. I just saw this on the Prowler store today, and they had this cover, but it was a buddy of mine says he's got a Prowler too, and he says, I don't think I want this. You want to buy it? And I said, yeah, I bought it. So
okay.
Then I put this this was the second sample of my side light
Okay.
that I kind of played with, because I wasn't sure about the thickness of it. So I had this left over, and I says, I'll just put it there, and I'm gonna put a little green plastic in the back.
Okay.
And there's lights under this thing. But here's what I did with the turning signals. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Okay. Yeah.
But
So they're behind the grill?
yeah.
Okay.
And I made little brackets, because the ones in the bumper you cannot take out. They're fixed.
Right.
So you have to buy new ones.
Okay.
And when I got these covers, I wasn't crazy about the lights there. But anyway, that's my idea.
Okay. Now, since they're behind there, can you actually, they look like they're really close together. Can you really tell which one's left and right when they're flashing?
Well, to a certain degree, I did the best I could, but I think I should have had, you got to have them. So this is the closest I could get to that.
Okay.
Okay,
well, you're the first I've seen done that. I've never seen anybody try to, I'm sure there's others that have done it, but I've never seen it where somebody put the turn signals behind the grill. So definitely a different look. Who did you buy the grill from?
This was a custom grill made probably 10, 12 years ago by somebody up in, I think, Washington. And I think it was a woman. She did fabrication, but she only did a handful of these. So
Okay.
I don't think she makes them anymore. But I did see something similar on the Prowler store, but I don't know if it's this kind of quality. Their stuff can be kind of marginal on terms of quality, but
you heard.
No, this is the grill that, this was really a 33, 34, 35, and 36. All Fords had this kind of grill.
Okay.
They're vertical. 37 is the one they went with the horizontal, but I don't know. I kind of like this.
Okay. Now, who did the chroming on your A-arms there and your suspension? Who did that?
Well, this is another interesting thing. Those A-arms are aluminum.
Right.
And then the connector to the A-arm is aluminum. And so I had Chrysler take it apart, because I didn't want to fool with the suspension. And I sent it to the same guy that did the polishing of my radiator cover, and he polished those out.
Okay.
Most people think it's chrome, but it's just highly polished aluminum.
Oh, okay.
But I got his brake line, the stainless brake line from him. And then this cap at the top, I don't know if you can see that, but I got that from Gary too.
Okay. So speaking of that, down below, the lower ball joint, is that still the original, or have you had that updated yet?
No, that's an updated one. I did all of the factory recall changes as they came out.
That's what I was wondering about the lower ball joint, was because there's been there was a info on the POA there where they were looking at newer versions of that. So I was just wondering if you've looked into wanting to replace that or not.
No, I haven't. As I say, it's been replaced, and I may have maybe 8,000 miles on this one, so it looks in pretty good shape. And
oh, okay. How many total miles on the car?
About 18,000.
Oh, okay. So you've only put 18,000 miles on this car in 18 years?
Yeah. Well, actually, less than that. I had 3,000 when I bought it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
okay.
It's a cruiser. Okay.
So have you taken any really long trips?
Well, yeah. The longest one was Vegas. When we had a meeting out there, and it was a fun meeting up there. And I drove it up there and back, and went to the drag racing and the Mustang, the Shelby factory, and it was just a ball. I really enjoyed it up there. But that's the longest trip I've done.
Okay.
I just don't take it on the road hardly anymore, because the rock chips, and you get kind of protective after a while.
No, I understand. So let's move over to the wheels. Let's take a look at your wheels. So obviously you have different wheels on there. Who manufactured the wheels you've got?
This is Don's of New York, and I just happened to I've been searching for wheels, and bigger wheels because with the nitrous and the stroker engine, it just overpowers the car. And so I wanted wider wheels, and I wanted the different wheels. And I was searching around and went to this website, and I saw that they had done a Prowler. And I thought, wow, because I was always concerned about getting a wheel that would fit. And, you know, because you're just talking about spacers and on
Right.
and on and on and on. And the wheels themselves, the factory ones, even I had chrome ones, were not all that good. So there's a video on his website. It's really, really cool. And so I kind of fell in love with it and called them, and they said, yeah, we can make it for a Prowler. We know, you know, all the dimensions, and that's the whole thing. I wasn't sure it was going to fit, but
Right. Okay. I'm kind of curious. It looks like it's actually inset there a little bit.
yeah,
compared to
it's probably
normal.
got 6-8 inches of inset to it. I don't know if this side over here is any better. You can see. Is that any better?
A little bit. Yeah. I'm just seeing the way the reflection is in the barrel. It just looks like it's pretty deep. So, and so what,
It's
these
deep.
are 315 millimeter width, right?
315, 30 by 22s.
Okay. So the 22-inch diameter, the 30 series in there. Okay. All right. And what about the front?
They are 18s. That's 255 40s, 18s.
Yeah. Compared to the standard, which was 17-inch, and I think it was 235. I think was the standard wheel.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it offset, but in proportion, since I bumped the other
Oh, I know. I
back wheels
understand.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is so? Now these are not run flat tires, are they?
No, they're
Okay.
Yokohama, and
Okay.
I did it kind of match the tread and make sure that the sizes would
Right.
fit.
Okay.
Uh,
Being that you've got a really low sidewall, how is the ride?
it didn't seem to affect it at all because I think there's just more area now, so it's it really didn't affect the ride at all. It handles
Okay.
really well.
What other issues have you had with the car mechanically since you've had it?
The window regulators, it was probably the biggest issue, and we
Right.
spoke the other day about Tom Mills, and he's done a wonderful job of re-engineering something that really wasn't engineered at all. I don't know where they came up with that cable,
Yeah.
but it just failed, and both sides failed. So it's not that difficult to change, and Tom will help you any questions. But
Okay.
I've got plenty of time. But if someone did it and had their buddies over, they could do it, for their whole club. And the guy who could do it could help the others. So anyway, we're thinking
Yeah.
about doing that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at the other stuff inside. So obviously you put in a lot of the new bezels in yellow. Was that all from the same place that you bought those?
I think I got those at the Prowler store, the panels, but the other ones I just had them painted.
Okay.
And then here's something you probably won't find anymore, and that's these stainless rings around the gauges.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, I could tell that you had the rings around the gauges.
Yeah, and that's
actually
again,
your tack looks different too.
it is. You see that little Prowler in it?
Yep, I saw that.
I just love it, and the smaller one just didn't look proportional.
Yeah.
So
where did you find that tachometer?
Well, it's auto gauge. It's pretty common. It's just as kind of a standard
Okay.
tachometer. I think you get it at Summit or almost any of them. One thing that I did do is I changed the light, and I put an LED, a little green one there, to try to match the same lights as the dash.
All right. And I noticed you even put some chrome on the door sills too. When you open it,
yes.
When you open up the door there, I noticed you had chrome along the door sill.
Right. Yeah, this is a Prowler store thing, but the actual Prowler insignia there came off, so I just took it off.
Okay.
And,
all right.
One thing.
Now, I was looking before on your pictures. Look at you changed the headrest as well.
Oh yeah, this is from Gary in California.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember, you probably don't, Catfish. He died here a couple of years ago. And we'd go up to this car show that happens every Saturday, and he would bring all kinds of stuff. And he says, here, how would you like to buy one of these headrest fillers? And I said, well, I don't know. What is it? He says, that's off a Lincoln Continental grill.
Really? Oh, the center part is? The center part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, it kind of looks factory. I try to do everything that someone will look at and say, that isn't factory. So, that's kind of the gauge on you did your modifications.
Okay. So also go back to the inside there a moment. I looked before in one of your pictures, it looked like you took out the CD changer and you put a new speaker back there, right?
Well, yeah, I did. And that's interesting. And that was one of my last big changes, because the speaker system is just crap. Speakers are terrible. I don't think they lasted 2 years, and they're plastic, or they're paper. And this subwoofer here is gone. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows what that looks like behind, but it's just a big plastic tube that comes over here, and right underneath this is where the actual woofer speaker is.
Okay.
But you can't get a replacement for it. It's a really odd size. Things have gotten so better than they used to be, where you could just throw a speaker in, but
right
now it's all engineered.
Right. Okay. It looks like you have a different speaker up there in the existing speaker housing. That looks new.
Well, this is the subwoofer
Down there. Okay. But is the speaker above it different too? It looks like it's different. Or is that the same one?
Oh, it's a different speaker. Yeah. I had all the speakers upgraded all around the car, and I put a new amp in, 4-channel. It's 2,000 watt. I mean, this thing, and it's absolutely perfectly clear. I would highly recommend something like this, but I've seen people put waterfalls and big speakers, and I just didn't want to change the look of the car that much. And this really, really works, and it's less expensive.
So the speakers are changed, but it's still the original factory radio.
Yeah, I kept that because it's just the looks of it, and I don't know why I'd want to necessarily change it with a new amp. The new amp sits under the seat, and let me show you something here that my CD changer would skip, and I got tired of it. So I saw this video on this simple iPad or iPod, and here it is right here.
Okay.
I have all my and it goes. The guy put it in, for very little money, and it hooks right into your radio. But all the controls work the same.
Okay.
Just like the CD changer, except it doesn't skip, and you can, program whatever you want. When I buy a new song, I just take it in on my computer, and I download it on this, so it's all current.
Okay. So who put that in there for you?
Some radio shop, but it isn't difficult, and some people do it themselves.
Okay.
Because it's not that difficult, but I think it was $50. I said, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Okay. No, that's a good idea, actually, because what I do on mine, I have a device that I have plugged into my cigarette lighter, and it's just one of these Bluetooth devices that allows me to, I can put in a flash drive to play my own music, or I can have it connect to my phone. And I just keep pulling that in and out of my cigarette lighter, because I prefer that than just listening to the regular radio or the CDs. So yeah. Right. So but your idea is nice, because then yours will work with the steering wheel, which mine does not. So that's a nice feature. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's go around to the back again for a moment. Can you show me the tailpipes? It looked like in your photo the tailpipes were different.
Yeah, they are.
They're definitely like lower and wider than the standard.
They're the original resonators. Well, you know what they look like. They come up, and it seemed like they didn't fit to me. And I just love the CUDA look. But they were, so you had to have them custom made. So I had this made in Tennessee somewhere. It's just stainless. But, and then I was wondering, is it going to hit? But it doesn't hit. It takes up, it's the same height, the right height, is the tailpipe that would come up.
Okay. So is it
And then
just
I
the
just,
end that you've replaced? There's no other muffler pipes that have been changed?
well, I upgraded the muffler to the SSS.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all stainless, and that's other than, I mean, the headers and the muffler, and then these end tips, but it really has a great sound to it.
Well, if you have your keys with you, you can start her up and we can see what it hears. Well, we can get a sample of what it sounds like.
Sure.
Oh, that sounds good. There we go. Yeah, I can hear you revving it. That's better. Yeah, now here's the real trick. Put the camera over by the tailpipe while you're revving it. I'm kidding. You don't have to do that.
You know, I got into nitrous.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the nitrous in the trunk.
Let me show you right here. Here's the controls. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that little switch on the right here? But that's the one that opens the bottle. Because before, if I left the bottle open, the gas would drain out of it. So, and then you wanted to make sure that the nitrous is on when you wanted it. So I got this electric bottle opener.
Okay.
So when I'm sitting there, I can pull the switch and it opens the bottle. And then there's a switch under the dash that arms it. This is a ZEX system. It's a wet dry system, they call it, because it has fuel and nitrous oxide. And
Okay.
it's the safest way to do it.
So how much horsepower boost do you get when you click that on?
100. Well,
100?
I got 100. You can get more.
Okay, but it's an additional 100 horsepower?
Yeah, instantaneous. I mean,
Instantaneous.
it's not only horsepower, but it's torque. That's people don't understand. It turns it into almost an electric car because it's not you rev up to 100. It's 100 right there.
Okay.
And
wow.
Here's something kind of interesting. An instrument that it won't allow the nitrous to come on until like 4,200 RPM.
Okay. Okay, so if you
know,
flip the switch when the car is at idle, it wouldn't do anything then, right?
No.
Okay, so that's like a safety precaution there to make sure it only comes on when it's supposed to.
Right, and it won't never come on until it's wide open throttle, which is another way of protecting the engine.
Oh, okay.
Then I have a low pressure fuel cutoff. It's located down in here where the little computer is. So the biggest worry about nitrous is where you run out of fuel because the nitrous burns so hot and they burn a hole right in the piston. And that's happened to some people. But this engine's built for nitrous. I use iridium plugs, and I rarely use it, to be honest with you. I mean, because it's too overwhelming. You just don't need it, but it's kind of fun if you wanted to play with it. My last time my wife was driving with me, and I think it was the last time she rode with me, I was pulling out in traffic, and I says, let's try this nitrous. And I hit that, and she grabbed the dash, and she says, don't you ever do that again. But here's the injection right here. You see that ZEX little, right underneath there's the nozzles.
Okay.
Both the fuel and the nitrous.
Okay.
I turned the low 13s with just the 75 horsepower and the stock engine.
Okay.
So this car would probably be in the 12s, but
okay.
Today's cars are so darn fast. It's just not about trying to be the fastest. It's just,
okay.
Hey, be a little different.
Okay, so we're probably going to run out of time soon on the call. I just want to make sure, show one thing, the spoiler you have in the back. Can you show that?
Oh, sure.
Where did you get that made, or is that a custom, or is that from a different car?
Well, it's interesting, the story. Again, Catfish, Jan Bergerman, we were at this car show, and he says, hey, look at this spoiler. It's off a Nissan.
Okay.
And see if you like it. And I put it on the car, and you got to drill holes in the car, and I think, I don't know. And then I showed it to my wife. She says, "Yeah, I like it." And I says, "All right," but it doesn't fit perfectly. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see this post here, but it won't fit the contour of the hood.
Right.
So I had
Okay.
to had a piece of plastic made, and then fiberglassed in and molded and painted.
Okay. So that
But
one had a brake light in it, but you don't have it wired up, do you?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. So that brake light will come on too?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm worried about it getting hit in the back, so more in the front. But because people gawk at the darn car, you're driving around and they're taking pictures, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of a little nerve-wracking, but love the
Right.
car.
Okay.
Here's something. These are smoked clears, and I had them smoked, and then the bulb actually is smoked too, and
Okay.
and, and then I got a red bulb for the brake lights, and it really makes a difference. Instead of looking at a big white dot, this looks better, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. Well, I think I'm looking through my list here. I think I've gone through everything. Did I miss anything else that you did?
Well, here's kind of one of my thoughts, and this whole thing's lit up. You can't see any of the lights, but they're all underneath everything, and these have a strobe light to them on both sides, and I've got a couple switches in the front here, and it's kind of fun at car shows. At night, I'll turn it on, and it'll just flash randomly, and
Okay.
it'll catch people's eye, and they say, "Hey, just look at that," and then it won't come on again.
Okay.
Here's some of the stuff that I've been using, and here is something that I just got because it's a big problem with the Prowler, and this is a intake air control valve, and you notice what it does is it allows the car always to have enough air to keep it running. And the original one I don't think is very good, because I replaced it once, but the car would die. You turn the air on and it would die, or at a stoplight it would die. And so I thought, well, I'll try this one. It's I thought higher quality, and it really has solved my problem.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, I've not heard of that before. Okay. So the rest of the stuff there looks like it's some car care stuff you've got, right?
yeah, well, I don't know if you've heard of Pan the organizer. He is great. He's Canadian, but he has all these videos of different car detailing products, and he evaluates them. And he doesn't promote any of them, but
Okay.
and here's my
Yeah, I saw your picture of that. That is really sharp. That is nice. That's very professional.
well, this guy's in Florida, and he does a wonderful job. And the great thing about it is it won't blow over. Many times to the little wind and the things pop over, but it's got Velcro, and it's got this thing at the top that holds it in place. And
Okay.
I had this picture taken in Vegas at a parking lot.
Okay.
And I sent it to him, and that's what he did to it.
Okay. Do you have his name?
Well, I can show you. Here is.
Yep, I see it. Perfect. Yep, I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I highly recommend that. And his stand he sells those too. And then you can get a T-shirt like I have on right now that has the same picture.
Okay. Awesome.
Matches.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much again, Randy, for showing all this. I appreciate it. It's great to see all these things you've been able to do to the car, and this will help a lot of other people, give them some ideas on what they can do. So,
yeah, they can email me at POA if you search, for instance, you search dyno reports, and you will see my dyno of the improvement with the headers, which is minor. Only with the nitrous it really makes a difference.
Okay, well, thank you, Randy, so much. I hope I get to see you out there sometime. I'd love to go back out to Arizona. I've been out there a few times. It's beautiful out there. I'd love to see it.
I'd love to put some miles on with you. I know all the cool places.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Randy. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Pat.
All right. We'll talk to you later.